Obviously, it's a great day to be a Nittany Lion. I was just at the hub and I did Thon 100 Days Out, and the energy and the excitement that those students have is just unbelievable. So I was so thrilled to be a part of that. And then obviously the season's about to kick off, and I really like this team. I'm enjoying the connection that I have with them and that they have with each other. And then obviously being able to sign Rossier and Miles and get that in. You know, there's paperwork and things that has to get done before you can talk about the two recruits. But couldn't be more thrilled and excited about them. I mean, they check all the boxes as far as competition, as far as winner. I mean, Miles Dress, I feel like, has been committed for 10 years. And his loyalty, his work ethic, his commitment to Penn State through the good and the bad, just unbelievable. It's unheard of in this day and age. And I let his dad know that, and I let him know that today as well, and how proud we were that he was coming to Penn State. And the same thing with Rossier, a winner, a competitor. Those two had played together as youngsters on an AAU team. We filled a lot of good pieces right there, and what they're going to bring, intangibles that they're going to bring to our team. Academically, they're off the charts as well. They can shoot the basketball, they can dribble, they can pass, and they're flat-out winners. If I haven't said that enough, they're winners, and it's always good to get winners in your program. And then obviously what Rose just said, you know, that's 5 years in a row, 100% graduation success rate. We're 22 points above the national average, and we're tied in the Big Ten at number 1. So we're doing a lot of good things here. You know, the next thing is the record. You know, the next thing's the record for us, and I think that's coming this year. Mark.
Give us a little scouting report on both players, like what they bring X's and O's. We understand
Yeah.
the intangibles you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Miles can play 1 through 4. He's that tough. When we first started recruiting him, he was playing small forward. He lost some weight, got in shape, changed his body. He was always a very good shooter. That was absolutely the case. Really has a high IQ. If you were able to see any of his highlights or watch any of the videos, Peach Jam, he's a winner. He takes charges, he rebounds the basketball, he makes plays off a ball screen, he can set the ball screen. I mean, he does a lot of winning things for your team, and he's a leader. He's not afraid to get in his teammates' faces. He's not afraid to put himself out there, and that's the thing that you love about him. And then Rossier, I think, it was huge, because now you got a point guard who can play 1 and 2. He can play both positions. Another very, very good shooter, really good off a ball screen, high IQ, competitive level, off the charts. He played for a really good AAU program in Team Loaded, and he's playing down at Massanutten right now, and they're competing at a high level. It's a different stage, and he's got to go against the best. And the one thing that I asked him to do is really work on being more vocal and leading, and he's done that. I mean, he's been the loudest guy in the gym, positive or negative. So I think we're bringing 2 guys in who are ready to keep this program on a high level.
You don't see a lot of decommitments in college basketball as opposed to football, which is all the time.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You know what? It's there. I've seen, obviously, what's going on out there right now. You see more decommitments than ever. But I know what you're saying. In the past, you might not see it as much. I don't know. I don't coach football, so I don't know. You know, if Miles had called me and said, I'm going to go on a visit to wherever, I would be like, no, you're not. You know, but I don't know how football handles that. I haven't talked to James. I've talked to James about a lot of things. That's one thing I haven't talked to him about.
When you look at the team you've got in front of you, as far as Tony's concerned, what's the conversation you have with him about how you want him to play? Because some of his best basketball in terms of optically has been when he goes, I'm going to score 8 straight points at the end of some of these games.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily wired to be that guy first, but he might be your most capable scorer in that regard. How do you kind of talk him through how you want him to balance those 2 things?
I think he's got such a high IQ, and he's really intelligent. He really knows when it's his turn and when to feed everybody else. He went for 24, 23, and I think he just had 11 against Bloomsburg. I didn't play him much in that exhibition game. But I think he has a good understanding. I mean, he had 7 assists, 0 turnovers. I mean, so he knows when there's a hot hand out there. You know, Shep went for 6 for 10 on Saturday, so he has a great understanding of his teammates. And that's what I was talking about. You look forward to seeing the development, right? We know what happened last year. We saw them, and then to see their bodies now and how they've changed, and the connection in the locker room, the connection that we all have together. You look forward to Friday night to see that team start to really mature and show what they're capable of doing. And I think that's what Tony is now doing for us. He understands it's my time. I got to look for a shot. I'm going to get a shot. But if Shep's got it going, Lamar's got it going, or we got to feed the big man, he's going to do that.
You mentioned that connection, obviously not being right with them in the locker room. How does that kind of show up to you and the rest of the staff in practices and in the exhibitions? And, how do you know it's there?
Well, it shows up in a lot of different ways. So they dap or high five. There's a lot of touching, and I think that's always important. But like on the bus ride, right? You hear laughing, you hear bantering. When you're doing right before you come into a film session, you can hear them laughing, joking, having a good time. Guys are picking each other up. We always do that, but there's something more to that now. They're not leaving the locker room. They're not leaving the gym ASAP when practice is over. They're hanging out. They're spending quality time together. So when you notice those things, there's a pretty good connection out there, and they want each other to succeed. Sometimes it's not to the level you need it to be. And that equals trust. We're all trying to build trust. We're all trying to get to the point where they trust each other, where the rotation's going to be, or I'm going to kick out for a three, and I trust that you're going to make the shot.
Is that different than what you've had or seen from teams in the past?
The connection is probably better than it's ever been.
Do you expect to have Mike, and can you let us know what?
Yeah, so I had that written down. I apologize. He's working hard. He's doing everything we need him to do. He's closer and closer to being back. So I'm hopeful he'll be back this weekend.
And I just want to be clear, is it a physical thing or is it something else?
It's in-house.
Okay.
It's in-house.
I have to ask.
Yeah, no question. No question. And I need to be more clear. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, if people follow and they ask, so
Yeah.
if we don't ask, we don't look.
Yeah, they're gonna get tweeted at.
Yeah.
What's, do you have any updates on Julian's percentage-wise?
Yeah.
And also, is Lamar 100%?
Lamar's definitely not 100%, but he's been playing. He's been going. I thought he showed some positive minutes on Sunday, which I wasn't expecting because he played Saturday with that ankle. But he looked pretty good. He looked pretty fresh. And he had a good day yesterday. I held Julian out yesterday. So Julian's probably like 75, 80%. So I'm going to be really intelligent with him, try to keep his minutes at a certain level, send him out of practice when I need to. But he's produced. The close scrimmage he produced. Lafayette, he did a great job in the second half, statistically wise for us, maybe not the box score. So our attitude points and things of that nature.
And then is Lamar, is that a situation that has an end date to it where you feel like he will be, that doesn't nag forever, just the nature of that injury?
Well, we have game, Friday, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. So it's gonna fester a little bit here. I told him,
And you have to be.
you're a basketball player, so you're going to be sore, hurt, or dinged up for the next 15 years of your life. So you better learn how to play with it.
How's he
And
responded?
very mature, very mature. He's coming in at least once, sometimes twice a day to get treatment. So he's ready to go.
You've been pretty proactive about outside noise control in the past in terms of sometimes Twitter has died and come back a few times over the past few years. Do you have to be proactive in a year like this where there's going to be a lot of noise in either direction? And some of these guys, I think Tony's already sort of has that perception about him that maybe he won't be here all 4 years if he tries to go to the league or something like that. And it's awfully early in his career to know that for sure. But just in general, how do you kind of manage that?
Yeah, it's something that we talk about, limiting your distractions. I'm not taking away Twitter or anything like that. It's really a part of who they are, and they're of society, really. But we're just constantly talking about it. Limit the noise, limit the distractions, focus on here and now, stay present has been something I've been trying to drive home. Not looking ahead, not looking, if I have a good year this year and, we have whatever amount of wins that I could possibly go. No. Stay right here, right now. Let's get better today. And like I said in the first press conference, March will take care of itself if we take care of today. So let's focus on that. Let's get better today. I think the same thing for Mike. I think Mike is that caliber of player. that we just have to constantly work with him about staying present and staying here, and don't let the outside distract you from the task at hand.
Pat, could you give an explanation for the early tip-off? I think I know why, but I'd like to hear in your words why you guys.
Well, I would go back to the same scheduling issues. Number one, with the Big Ten having that weekend, we were not supposed to play on this Friday night. So the Lady Lions play at 7. There's a homecoming parade, and we didn't want to play Saturday with the football team playing, and we already had Sunday locked up, and we were really looking to go away. I was looking to start on the road, and it just worked out this way. And they accepted 4 o'clock, and Campbell's accepted 4 o'clock, even though they're part of that tournament. It just worked out for us.
And to do it on part of a home football weekend, what is that kind of?
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm hoping people get up here early. I'm hoping there's going to be excitement out on this campus. I know that there will be, especially for homecoming and the game. Get the football team back on track. I think it's going to be great. I hope fans come out and support us.
What are you looking for this first weekend from kind of just the development of the group as a team, and kind of what you'd like to see these first two?
Yeah, Ryan. I want to see us play hard. I want to see us compete. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. We have some really good 8-minute to 10-minute stretches, and then we have a couple got to clean that up before we get to the Big Ten, or now the first weekend in December. So I want to see us compete as hard as we can for as long as we can, instead of going in spurts. We need to be consistent throughout the 40-minute game.
Does that change anything with the early Big Ten start as far as how quickly you need to see the guys get ready for that?
You know what? The only thing that changed was our schedule, the compressed part of the schedule. But I'm not going to change anything now, because typically you have high major games in there somewhere. So we're just going to prepare like we've always prepared and get them ready to compete at a high level.
What do you expect to see from Shep this year as far as shooting the 3? I mean, we've seen him be in that 34 to 36 range, but this year in the preseason he shot really, really well. Do you expect him to take another leap this year?
I do. I expect, I don't want to put a number on it, but I expect Shep to really shoot lights out this year. And I expect his leadership to be unbelievable. He has shown that over the last 2 weeks. I also want to see him get to the free throw line a little bit more, because people are going to just sit on him outside the 3. I'd like to see him mix up his game a little bit, back cut a little bit, do some different things. Don't be afraid to take a 2. And he's doing that. Defensively, he's gotten much better, and he understands that we're going to need him in at the end of games. He's got to defend, he's got to rebound. But right now, he's given us what a senior should be giving us.
You brought Coach Ferry on board this offseason. What do you want to see out of him? But he had shoot the 3 well or something like that. But
he was a great shooter back in the day. So,
but what is his game day responsibility? I mean, how do you want to utilize sort of his background when it comes to?
So what we did was, I provided him our playbook, and then we sit down and we go over wrinkles. And it's ironic, he's running similar sets at LIU and Duquesne that we're running here. So that was easy transition for us. So game day, him and I meet the day before the game or the day of the game. For the scrimmages, been the day before. And we go over what we think will be effective versus the defenses that the opponent plays. I've given him the freedoms to make calls, but we're on the same page as far as what we want to do, the game plan that we have, how we're going to start the game, what's working, what's not working. At halftime, that's what we've been doing. What looks good, what doesn't look good, what do we need to talk about to the team before we go out, and adjustments. So far, I think it's going really, really well.
Is that an adjustment for you? Because unless I'm mistaken, you've called plays exclusively the past.
I probably called plays 75% of the time over the last 2 years. And this year, I expect to, it might be a little bit less, but if we're on the same page and we sit down together and put our heads together and we come up with a game plan, it'll be around the same.
Pat, so an interesting aspect of this team, I feel like, is that Philly connection, Roman Catholic connection. So I just am curious, how does that impact the chemistry on the team? Do you find that helps to kind of bring a core group of guys to the team, or does it maybe take a while for other guys to kind of feel like they can be able to embrace that?
That's another part of what we were talking about, the connection. I think they're doing a great job of just not them. It's just not them all the time. They're bringing in Jamari, they're bringing in John and Trent, and they're making sure they hang out with everybody, because I think cliques can really, really take a team down, especially a locker room. So we want to avoid cliques at all costs, and it's something, again, that we talk about. Hey, when we're at the training table or whatever, make sure you sit and, we break this up. But they're doing it on their own now, so as long as they're, focused on taking care of 1 through 14, that way you got that connection.
And do you feel like Shep helps out with that, being more of the leader this year, obviously, kind of to make sure that everyone is embraced?
Yeah, Shep, like I said, Shep is doing a really good job bringing these guys together and not fearing, if he's got to get on somebody, not worrying about the consequences, not worrying about, he's not going to like me. This is in between the line stuff. So I think he understands that now when you're 22 years old. Like, you know what? This is my last go around. This is the way it's got to be. And this is what, other great leaders did for me. So I need to pass that down.
What's the biggest challenge that you feel your team needs to overcome in order to get to where you want them to be?
I just think consistency. We're the same team that beat Michigan State, and we're the same team that beat Maryland, and the same team that beat Minnesota, same team that beat Georgia Tech. We had some really, really great wins. But can we be consistent the next night? Great win. We're going to play that way the next night. That's what I'm looking for. We just scored 102. We just scored 80-something. We're scoring the basketball again. We're right up about our 70 possessions per game where I want us to be. But now it's about the consistency on the other end, the defending, the rebounding, the approach. I've been calling it mental conditioning. We need to have the mental conditioning to come back and compete at the same level or higher. And that's what we're working on.
Coach, Jamari played a lot of minutes in the first 2 exhibition games. What are you kind of expecting from him at the beginning of the season? I'm
expecting right around that 15, anywhere from 15 to 22, 23, depending on foul trouble. I know it's kind of a funny number to throw out there, but that's what I'm looking for out of him. His pace that he brings to the game is outstanding. His competitiveness is off the charts. The speed at which he plays with is exactly what we need. It's a good change from Tony to Jamari. And then the way he defends, and I'm letting him pick up as far as he wants, because he just gets in the point guard. He's going to turn them. He's going to really make them work. And instead of playing our pressure defense or 3/4 court press there, he's doing it on his own, because he knows he's got those 15 to 20 some minutes to get it done. And then he's got to run the offense for us. So, foul trouble, and I want to slide Tony to the 2. I think they're good minutes for him as a freshman. So that's pretty important.
With the mental conditioning idea, what are some ways you go about working on that with the guys?
In practice, they think practice is over and doing one more drill. In practice, doing a shooting drill, and it's got to be crisp and clean. Same thing in practice, maybe doing a 5-on-0 thing, keeping score, loser runs, things of that nature. And I keep talking about mental conditioning. The charity event, I thought, came at a great time to do that for hurricane relief. Was awesome, and Lafayette did a wonderful job of welcoming us down there. But it turned out to be a mental condition for us too, because we're able to play it back-to-back. We're going to play it back-to-back in New York when we play Pitt and whoever we're going to play the next night. So far, I didn't like our back-to-backs last year. So I've been really talking to them about back-to-backs, 4 and 8, mental conditioning part of it. Got to get up the next day and compete the same way, as hard as we can.
When you talk about mental conditioning, what plays a bigger factor? What your players are doing here at practice, or kind of how they handle themselves once they walk out of here and have to deal with all the elements that college kids do?
Well, it's definitely about sacrifice, and it's we have our whoops, right? So it's definitely get that 8 to 10 hours sleep. We need your rest. Get in here and see the trainer. If you're cold, and hot tubs and icing, whatever you need. That sacrifice that not a lot of people know behind the scenes that these kids are doing to get in here. They're not going, hopefully they're not going out, and they're making good choices, and then they got to come in here and stay fresh so they can perform at a high level.
And as the coach, do you find that's when senior leadership or veteran leadership comes into play more so, that Shep and those guys can help the younger guys adjust to that?
Yeah, no doubt. But you know what? I think our younger guys are very mature. Our sophomores are very, very mature, and our freshmen came in more prepared than any class we've ever had, as far as conditioning, as far as being tough, as far as lifting in the weights. They came in really prepared. I think Jamari might be the 4th strongest on the bench. Think about that. He's 6 foot. I mean, it's really impressive. And you know about John and his football background and Trent. I mean, it's impressive what those guys do. So I think we keep talking about routine of greatness, and they have to stick to that routine so they can perform at a high level. In the classroom and on the court, really, they go hand in hand. Did I say we have 100% graduation success rate? I don't know if I said that. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Have you started a game for Friday?
I've been sprinkling in some things here and there. You know.
What do you guys, what's the schedule?
They got a great player, fantastic player. Who was the second leading scorer in Division I last year at 25 a game. From what I'm hearing, he's averaging 40 in his exhibition and scrimmages. I've watched some tape already on him, and he's a dynamic player. He's like an Allen Iverson, but probably a better outside shooter. He can really score the basketball. So it's got to be 5 against the ball. This isn't Nas or Josh or Jamari versus him. This is 5 against, it's Penn State basketball versus what Campbell does. And, I'm talking about him. They got shooters all over the place. I like their big man. He's really bouncy. Blocked 70 shots last year. So they're a good team. They got a good team. And Kevin's a very good coach. I've known him for a long time. We're gonna. It's a great opener because we're going to be challenged.